Top 10 Crazy Conspiracy Theories Surrounding the Chinese Coronavirus. 10. The United States Government. There are bits of gossip that the United States government made the Chinese coronavirus. This case was first made by the Russian news arranged Channel 1 during a live news communicate. A news moderator said the U.S. government made the infection to obliterate China's economy. He included that the U.S. may have additionally made it so they could offer immunizations to the Chinese government. The moderator put together his case with respect to the way that crown implies crown in Russian and Latin. As we as a whole know, President Trump used to be an adjudicator on excellence exhibitions and was now and again accountable for delegated the victor. The moderator said this was the explanation: the infection was named after crowns. In the interim, researchers state they named the infection after its crown-like shape. 9. Bill Gates. On the off chance that you are attempting to see how Bill Gates fits into all these, we should return to October 2019. That month, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation worked together with the World Economic Forum and the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security to test how well we were set up to manage an epidemic in an inquisitive spot of destiny. The Covid-19 infection appeared 2 months later. Conspiracy scholars state the program was a preface to the up-and-coming pandemic, which every one of the three associations had arranged from the start. In the meantime, the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security has denied any connection between the occasion and the Covid-19 plague. 8. 5G Internet. Wuhan was one of the primary Chinese urban communities to get 5G web. It is a similar city where the Covid-19 infection originally showed up. Is that a fortuitous event? Dana Ashley says it is not. Ashley accepts the Covid-19 infection is brought about by radiation waves discharged by 5G web. She put together her cases with respect to a 2-decade-old research paper that uncovered 5G was risky to human well-being. Ashley says the alleged coronavirus is really radiation harming. She says it debilitates the insusceptible framework, leaving an individual powerless against diseases. People on the opposite side of the fence say Ashley is simply one more intrigue scholar. They state the 2000 examination she cited was defamed by a recent report that demonstrated 5G was not hazardous to people. They additionally called attention to the way that Wuhan was only one of the 16 Chinese urban communities that got 5G web simultaneously. 7. The Chinese government. A few people trust China made the Covid-19 infection as a major aspect of its organic weapon program. They state the infection later spilled from a lab, causing the epidemic, the lab being referred to as the National Biosafety Laboratory. It is the main Chinese government-claimed office fit for directing examination into savage infections. It is a piece of the Wuhan Institute of Virology, which is situated in Wuhan. In the event that you review, Wuhan is a similar city where the pandemic broke out. These claims emerged over an announcement President Xi Jinping made just after the pestilence broke out. He said the security of research facilities was a national issue. The next day, the Chinese Ministry of Science and Technology discharged guidelines on the most proficient method to tie down research facilities to forestall the break of infections. 6. The Canadian government. A few people except the Canadian government drove by social examinations educator Justin Trudeau envisioned made the Covid-19 infection at the National Microbiology Laboratory in Winnipeg, Canada. The lab is a Canadian government-possessed office that behaviors investigation into savage infections, much the same as the one in Wuhan. China. Conspiracy scholars state 2 Chinese covert agents took the infection and sent it to the Wuhan Institute of Virology, where it wound up causing the plague. The covert operatives being referred to are Dr. Keding Cheng and his better half Dr. Xiangguo Chu. The couple worked at the lab until they were abruptly laid off in 2019. Conspiracy scholars said the team were terminated for taking examples of the infection and sending it to China. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police said they were ousted over arrangement and managerial issues. Who is coming clean? 5. The October 2019 meteorite explosion. Something mind-blowing occurred in Upper East China in the early long stretches of October 11, 2019. A shooting star detonated in the sky soon after 12 p.m., causing an extraordinary blaze that made the night sky as splendid as day. Conspiracy scholars have now hopped on that occurrence. They state the shooting star brought the COVID-19 infection from space. Scientists state this is far-fetched since the meteor didn't arrive on the ground. Regardless of whether it did, they don't figure the infection could have endured the outrageous temperature of the arrival. Meteors that don't reckon the climate can reach up to 1,198 degrees Fahrenheit when they contact the ground. That is all that anyone could need to kill the infection a few times over. Infectious Illnesses Pro. Dr. Dominic Sparks included that the COVID-19 infection in all probability started here on Earth, since it imparts a great deal in like manner to severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS, and the Middle East respiratory syndrome, MERS. All 3 infections have a place with a gathering of infections called coronaviruses. We know SARS and MERS started here on Earth, however COVID-19. The truth will surface eventually. 4. A Chinese woman eating bat soup. There are theories that people got the COVID-19 infection from bats. While researchers are yet to check this case, a few people trust it spread to people after somebody crunched down on a tainted bat. That somebody is Chinese travel blogger Wang Mengyun. Mengyun turned into a survivor of a fear-inspired notion after a video of her eating a bat became famous online. She was blamed for getting the infection and spreading it to other people. Mengyun was later constrained by the Communist Chinese government to apologize for eating the bat. She included that the video was shot in 2016, 3 years before the COVID-19 infection showed up. It was not shot in China yet in Palau, an island country in the Pacific Ocean. 3. Some unknown person or group created it, from HIV. Not all fear-inspired notions have a name nailed to them, like this one proposed by a gathering of Indian analysts. The analysts state the COVID-19 infection bears some similarity to the HIV-1 infection. They said this was sufficient proof to demonstrate that somebody had altered HIV to make this new virus. They distributed the paper on bioRxiv, a site for examined papers anticipating audit. The analysts didn't make reference to names, so we don't have the foggiest idea about the individuals mindful. The paper caused a contention, making the analysts pull back it. 2. Corona beer. Crown Extra is a brand of lager prepared in Mexico. It is irrelevant to the coronavirus and doesn't cause or spread it. The lager got its name from the Spanish and Latin word for crown. The infection was named for its crown-like shape. Corona Extra has been enduring a naming emergency since the pestilence broke out. While nobody has really asserted it causes or spreads the infection, apparently individuals as of now medical care take such convictions. Google has been overflowed with looks for Crown Brew infection, lager infection, and lager coronavirus since January 1. Samuel Hyde. Samuel Hyde is an acclaimed entertainer and humorist. A few people, be that as it may, might suspect he ought to likewise be acclaimed for beginning the coronavirus pestilence. This case is accepted to be a piece of a running joke of accusing Hyde for each grievous occurrence that happens in the United States.